to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast here in Bolton. It's been a really good start to tonight's show. I'm joined by Joe Mcnally. Joe, thanks for giving me some of your time. How are you, mate? It's been a while.
I'm good, mate. Good. Yourself?
Very well, mate. Very well. It's been Smith Fowler fight week, I think, and a lot's gone on since then. We've got a lot to talk about. Just a quick one on tonight's show. I just said to you, there's a lot of small hall shows out there at the moment. So to stand out, you've got to put the production value in and get good fights. And what we've seen tonight is really good, actually.
Yeah, definitely. You know, obviously this is Thomas Stalker's first promotion, and being here the last hour or so and attending a lot of small hall venues, if he keeps it up and, you know, he's putting good fights on and he's put the extra little bit into the preparation, you know, the DJ, the lighting system, the venue, I can see nothing but success for him, yeah, fantastic. Yeah,
because it is a really competitive sort of scene at the moment. I'm going to jump straight into some stuff regarding yourself and some additions to the stable. Kevin Ajago, by the way, I just said to you, what a top boy. Got a lot of time for Kevin, really good lad, and obviously someone who's going places. You must be delighted to have someone like Kevin in your stable now.
Yeah. As you've just stated, Oscar, he's a fantastic talent. I've been working with him now for a couple of months. He's, phenomenal talent. He's got a very hard task ahead of him. In Peter Dobson, undefeated 6-0, 9KO American. It's one with truly confidence in coming out victorious, you know, on the right side of the decision. It's a pleasure to be working with him.
Is it kind of a no-brainer to take someone on who has such goals as well? I can remember when Kevin turned over, it's always been about being a world champion and kind of never settling for less. So obviously he's going to get you on board with that. Is it kind of a no-brainer to take someone on who just wants to achieve the top?
Yeah and no. There's a flip side of the coin to it. You know, my philosophy is I don't care how good a coach you are or how not. The kid can be the best in the world, he can be average, he can be poor, but you need to have a connection with the fighter, you know. Him have confidence in the coach and vice versa, both on the same page. So it's not a consensus of, you know, taking a good talent on and he's just going to do it, because if he doesn't settle in the environment he's in and he doesn't believe in, you know, the teachings he's getting taught and stuff like that, it wouldn't be worth working together. But, you know, we've gelled well and he's coming on nicely, and, you know, fingers crossed he comes out with a fantastic victory at the end of this month.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing Kevin back in the ring. Speculation about a certain Tartan Tornado in your camp as well. I must stress, from what everyone's heard, only speculation at the moment. So that's kind of why I'll say the floor is yours, Joe, to enlighten us if Josh has been in the gym or not.
Well, you know, I've spoke to Josh, but it is speculation at the time. It's not in my position right now to be putting it out there and saying, you know, I've joined. But hey, what an addition it would. So you've just stated to be training a champion. You know, for me to work with a champion, I'll be nothing but you know, it'll be exciting. Why wouldn't you want to take a Ferrari for a drive? You know, it's but it is speculation, and you know, it'll all come out time, I tell you.
Yeah, I mean, you've worked with some top fighters in your time, so I can imagine it's a question you've kind of been getting asked a lot, simply because of how much buzz there is around Josh Taylor. And as well, if we're looking at potentially him flying into a rematch with Jack Catterall, that is one of the biggest fights in the country at the moment. Yeah,
well, you know, it's a fantastic fight, obviously. You know, speaking to Josh and knowing Josh won, he's gladly rectify and, you know, come out and just put a little bit of a wrong right, a poor performance, and turn up with a fantastic performance. But I can, you know, Jack's a fantastic fighter. I was there. I was in the arena. I had a boy Scott fighting his debut on the bill, and I watched the fight live. You know, and it'll be a good fight. You know, if they have the rematch again. Yeah.
Well, everyone's keep your eyes peeled on Josh's socials for the, I'll say, official announcement. Joe, I've got to ask you about kind of the big news at the moment. We kind of should be, there should be the country's eyes tonight on Chris Eubank and Mcnally from the O2. That isn't the case. There's a lot that's gone on, a lot to timeline. Just kind of your initial reaction and what that was when you saw the news break on, I think it was Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, you know what, Oscar, I'm a bit of a straight shooter, and I think he's made a fucking stupid mistake You know, you can't. I know enough about the sport, and I'm very, very passionate about, you know, people cheating in the sport and PEDs especially, and only he'll know what he's put in his body. I won't make no outlandish claims and this, that and the other, but what I do know about testing is, you know, VADA, Voluntary Anti-Doping Association, is the la creme of the drug testing in, you know, especially in professional boxing. Dr. Margaret Gutman, and for them to find the adverse findings, clomid in his urine or blood sample, whatever that was. But I'll put it out there, UCAD are just shit. You know, they're absolutely terrible. I know that personally of people that have, you know, been having recreational drugs, and it's like, oh yeah, they've made a joke, I've passed test, fuck off, you know. UCAD aren't worth anything, and for VADA to find these findings and to saying, we're going to investigate the B sample, look, VADA wouldn't have released what they've released without it being concrete, and I know as good as anyone, if it's a piss, you piss in a thing, goes to sample A, sample B, you lock it, boom, it gets signed, it's done, it's gone, same with your blood, so the B ain't going to be no different, and you've got to take, if you're clutching straws, you've got to take into consideration human error, you know, cross-contamination, what laboratory it's been in, and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, they found clomid in his blood or urine, whatever it was for that matter, and at the end of it, it's used of it as a cycling drug, I believe, when bodybuilders come off bar, it's something along them lines, it spikes your testosterone, but it's a disgrace for our sport of boxing, it really is, and I don't condemn it, and I truly believe, you know, not no less than a lifetime ban if you've been caught cheating should be implemented.
I mean, there was a point, because the British board don't recognise VADA specifically, that there was talk of the fight going ahead. As soon as that came out, it was barely an hour before promoters and fighters were all like, this fight will go ahead. I take it you're kind of the thought that the fight shouldn't have gone ahead, and it's kind of the right decision that we're standing here now and there's no action at the O2.
Yeah, so if you know the dynamics and how the cogs work with the VADA and UCAD, personally with my own fighters, I've only ever had in championship fights and stuff, them getting tested after the fight, which is just being a standard urine sample test. So where the public's misinformed with VADA is because it's, you know, voluntary, but it cost a lot of money. It cost the two fighters a lot of money to agree to have that type of testing done. You know, for them to find what they've got and the unfair findings. So UCAD are affiliated with the British Boxing Board of Control. So there's the loophole. So when VADA have found these findings, it's basically they've got to inform the body that's obviously licensed in a fight, which is the British Boxing Board. So, you know, we found them. The scary part for me is this has been known for weeks and weeks and weeks, and the fight is still being pushed ahead. As in, you know, oh yeah, I don't know if the promoters have agreed, the fighters have agreed yet. Look, we've brought VADA on board, the voluntary, which is the truth of it. And we've tested negative for UCAD, they're affiliated with the board. That's a bit of a loophole right there, but I think, you know, to the best of my knowledge, it got out there to the press, it got leaked, and it went out there. Like, you know, I think it's VADA's, you know, priority to inform the British Boxing Board, and, you know, we found these, and I don't know, that's all she wrote really. The rest is history.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a big kind of fallout from this, and I suppose no one's really coming out looking good from this situation. Just kind of one more question on this, but before I let you go, will this have kind of a long-term impact on the sport? Because, you know, it's not the first time, and it definitely won't be the last time that there's been adverse findings, but when it's a fight of this magnitude, I mean, this has crossed over to the mainstream. This isn't a European title fight. This is Eubank-Benn. They were on British television in the morning. This is a real big one. Could this have a long-term effect in the sport, or is it kind of a short-term memory where, you know, if you get what I'm saying?
I do get what you're saying. Yeah, look, let's not go too far. Canelo Alvarez tested positive for Glenbuterol. Oh, it was in the beef, and then he's banned. You know, there's a few UK names out there that have been banned and they serve a few months ban and they come again. Unfortunately, I think the fight goes ahead. I believe at a different date in the not so near future. I hope, you know, the only way it stops, there was a certain drug cheater in the sport called Victor Conti, Balco Labs. He now runs the snack program. Devon Haney, Booby Wandrade, stuff like that. And there's a good interview. He reinvented himself now on the consensus that he advises his fighters who he thinks do and what and cheating and stuff like that. But he made a comment, I can't remember how long ago I was seeing it, and he said it cost, you know, VADA charge X amount for testing and stuff like that, but it was $1 it cost to test a hair follicle in a lab, and it can backdate testing what you've put in your body for 6 months. I'm not 100% certain on his clarity on that or where he's got them facts from, but the interview was him basically saying, and this is from a former cheat drug designer, saying, you know, they couldn't cycle on, they couldn't do this, then why don't they just do this? And I thought that's a fantastic idea, that there was an annual fee to pay for this type of testing to be done. Until something like that is implemented in our sport of boxing, unfortunately, I think the cheating will carry on and on and on.
I'm going to share something with you that might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.